So I spent ages trying to work out what the title should be for this talk, and you would not believe it. Went through sort of many possibilities and I arrived at this really imaginative solution. Matthew Rudd, Graphic Design and Art. My name is Matthew Rudd. I'm a graphic designer and I quite like art. So this is how I've arrived at this title. So I am first and foremost a graphic designer, but art has informed my graphic design a great deal, and I decided to take this talk as an opportunity to kind of explore that for myself. So this is my CV. It's sort of brief, minimal, succinct. I come from Chippenham down the road. Hey! Excellent. In fact, I think my original connection to Giles and Gemma is that I'm mates with Gemma's sister's husband originally. So that's probably why we were at that same party together. And then I went to Central St Martin's in London, and then I had a job for 2 years, the only job I've ever had, at a company called Intro, which is a great studio in London that was fairly young when I joined it. And that was set up by a bloke called Adrian Shaughnessy, who's a very interesting guy. I don't know if ever you've seen what he's up to, but he's a writer and he teaches at the Royal College, and he wrote the great book, How to Be a Graphic Designer Without Losing Your Soul, which if you haven't read it is a good read. So I had 10 years of doing really interesting work with Channel 4, which, and this is the first thing, it was a rebrand of Film 4, and it's just so natural, the progression. You can see this is like a moving image version of my print stuff. So that was about showing people that Film 4 was actually an organisation that made films as well as had a TV channel. The previous identity didn't really do that, it just had very flat colours and quite boring. But this time we put in film scripts and we put in storyboards and we put in, all sorts of stuff to show that Film 4 was actually, serious, because they actually made stuff like Trainspotting as well as at a TV channel. And the next thing we did was E4, and this was a brilliant sort of lucky sort of sequence of events, because E4 required a little bit more kind of formal, proper kind of brand thinking and strategy and stuff like that, but it was relatively easy as these things go, because E4 was a very clear proposition. 16 to 24-year-olds, Ali G introduced the whole thing on the first night of E4, and he just said, this is TV with the boring stuff taken out, so we ain't got news or nature programmes. And so I, after having done a lot of other pages in my sketchpad, started scribbling something like this, which was a sort of a mark that was somewhere between formal and informal, and that was based on handwriting. I wanted it to actually have the feeling of human handwriting in it, to suggest that that it's a more inclusive and friendly operation. So yes, that's it. Thank you very much. Thank you.